Hello, everyone, and welcome to ReelQuick episode 26. On episode 25, we gave our Oscars predictions for what we all thought was going to happen. Today, we're going to recap everything that happened because you are watching this or listening to this on Tuesday, and the Oscars were just a night and a half ago. And Seth, this is your first time ever watching the Oscars. First, I'll mention Cam is not here today. He's celebrating his 5-year anniversary. 5 is the number?
5 year, yeah.
5-year anniversary with his wife.
Cam.
So happy anniversary, Cam. We miss you. We hope you're, eating a nice steak, maybe drinking some nice wine right now.
All right, fellas, here are my Oscars thoughts. Stephanie Sue obviously snubbed, but I don't know if we actually thought she'd win. Carrie Condon and Angela Bassett snubbed. What the fuck are we doing, Oscar Academy, I mean. Happy for Michelle Yeoh, happy for Brendan Fraser, happy for the Daniels, happy for Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was my best movie of last year. I'm just happy it got the respect it deserved, whether you liked it, loved it, hated it, I don't know. Yeah, at least had to acknowledge it was a pretty damn good movie. It was unique. It was different. All right, that was rude. That's where I'm ending it.
But the boys are here to talk about the Oscars. And first, before we get into it, I wanted to go to Seth because Seth, you've never watched the Oscars ever, or this is the first time in long time, or
no, I've never watched it.
Yeah. So overall, since you're just fresh to it, what did you think of the whole event as a whole? Completely winners aside, watching it, how the event went on, how the whole charade of it all. What was your initial takeaway?
I quite liked it. There's too many ad breaks. That's kind of annoying. I didn't realize there'd be that many, but it's kind of understandable.
One thing that's kind of interesting about the ad breaks, though, just for you specifically, is because I heard that, because people were from some international, I saw Josiah tweeting this, I think there were some things cut from the American stream that, I think you guys had a little more ads. Margot Robbie, and there was a couple other things I thought. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I just saw it on Twitter. I think it was fun. I don't really know what to expect. I think I expected just what it was. I've watched some of the speeches before. When actors have lights have won. But it was good. I liked how they showed the clips and stuff like that. I know people were a bit worried if they were going to do that. Apparently they didn't do that whenever it was. The backdrops were quite nice. Jimmy Kimmel, I don't know, man. He's fine. He kind of annoys me sometimes. I don't know what it is, but it's some of the jokes were okay. But they just get a bit much for me after a while, to the point where it's okay, we're gonna repeat the same thing over and over again. But that was good. I actually enjoyed it. I kind of got into it. I tweeted at George saying incoming George 478 tweets. I already did 578 to be fair. Just because it's everyone's talking about it on Twitter, and it's just
everyone is going feral on Twitter.
Yeah, it's just you get just the engagement you get on that night is just fucking ridiculous.
It's fun to be a part of.
Yeah, it is. I think
every time I hit refresh, there was another 106 tweets I had to read through.
I think I enjoy the social media side of it more than the actual watching it. I like the announcement of the actual awards. I hate how they fucking play them off. When those guys were thanking their families and
the visual effects. For, Avatar. That was the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen.
It's so fucking awkward, and I've seen him do it before, and it's just and the way the best picture. I don't know. One of you tweeted. I think it might have been Tyler. The best picture announcement seemed a little bit rushed as well. It's they were trying to push for time at the end. Yeah. But overall, I enjoyed it. I didn't I think I enjoyed speaking about it more than directly watching it. I just enjoyed the reaction of everyone, just the audience, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. George, how about you? Just completely winners aside, because we're going to get all into that, but just your overall takeaway, the production.
I honestly think this was one of the better produced Oscars events we've had in a very long time. I think they did a lot more to engage non-film loving audiences. The way for costume design, they brought out all the costumes, but before they announced the winners, they played a video of each of the performances, which I absolutely loved. I like Jimmy Kimmel. I don't like Jimmy Kimmel in general, but I was watching his monologue yesterday, and I was honestly, well done. That was funny. That wasn't cringe. It wasn't overly political the way I expected it to be. But yeah, I thought the whole event was nice. I thought there were some interesting meshes of presenters like Morgan Freeman and Margot Robbie. That's such a random collection of two people, but I loved it. But yeah, overall, I really think this was one of the better Oscars that they've put on in a long time, especially after the 2 COVID years, because last year they got so much shit for not airing the tech categories. And then 2 years ago...
Wait, they didn't air the... Which ones?
the tech categories. They announced all of those on the side. Yeah, it's absolutely
What?
shit. Yeah, it was shit.
That's
People were so
crazy.
furious. And then 2
How
years
long did
ago,
it last for then?
just one year. Oh,
No,
the
I
event
mean the
itself?
actual.
I
Yeah,
don't know. Not too long.
interesting.
But also to like playing people off, it's like the award show's already like 3.5 hours. Like, just let it go another half hour at that point and let people get like another minute or two into their acceptance speeches. I'll never understand that. Like, if it goes on to midnight, I'm gonna stay awake till midnight. So I don't know. But overall, I thought the event was great.
I'd rather them cut some of the jokes out and allow some more time for the people to speak in their speeches and stuff. Like, that's kind of annoys me. They'll spend so much time with these presenters giving them these scripts. Some of them are funny, some of them aren't. Where that a lot of that time could have been used for people actually thanking whoever they want to thank. That's what kind of irritates me.
I mean, all like the side stuff makes sense. Like I like that they do all the original songs and they all perform that.
Yeah.
There are a couple of extra performances we could have done without, but I don't know. I guess they have to stick to their 3.5 hour time slot or however long it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I echo what George was saying. I think the production of this was the best I've seen. I've like been a religious Oscars watcher like long before I was on movie TikTok, so I've just always been a fan of it. I don't know why I'm drawn to it. Probably for the last like 10 years I've been an avid watcher, and I thought this was like the best one I can remember. For Seth's knowledge, like Jimmy Kimmel, I thought he did a great job, and because the Oscars hosts have just had, especially recently, have just had such a bad history. We had a year where there was no host.
Who did it last year?
Last year was that one is Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer and like two other
people. So yeah. So if you didn't like this year, like so last year there was 3 different hosts that were all rotating around, and you would have saw Amy Schumer in a skin tight Spider-Man suit being dragged across the auditorium, and by being suspended in the air. So it was. I didn't care for the host last year. We had a year where there was no host of the Oscars. So like the past couple of years, like the host situation has been really rough. Whereas this year, I think Jimmy Kimmel nailed it. For me, like I didn't love every joke he gave, but I would prefer someone who like takes risks at least, as opposed to just like someone who tries to just be so vanilla. But yeah, I thought the production was really great. Like George said, I really liked the costumes out there. What they used to do way back in the day was they would have like a runway fashion show of all the costume designers for those awards. That would be sweet to bring back to like really show off.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I'd love that to come back. But yeah, I love that they play all the best original songs. But yeah, the best picture announcement, we'll get to that. It seemed rushed, and it was weird because he made so many jokes about like how this show's going on for hours and hours and hours, but then they kind of rushed the ending and they cut some people off. But yeah, it's tough. Like, and they said at the beginning in the opening monologue that they weren't going to play anyone off either. They made the joke about it and had the not to dance come out, but they managed to do pretty well on that. They only had 2 people that were played off by music, which for Oscars standards, that's like a home run. Like they normally play off like 6, 7, 8, like a lot of people. And it's similar to what the Golden Globes did earlier this year. I know at least George and I watched it, where once they're talking for 30 seconds, they'll play a piano and it'll like slowly get louder and louder and louder. So they didn't do that. I think the issue was where they just had a team of people on there. And like, I'm not going to blame any of the team of people winning, but it's like from a production standpoint, like if someone ends their speech and someone's not like immediately rushing up to the mic, it's kind of hard. Like if you're in the production room, you kind of got to be like, okay, they're done with their speech, let's go. So it's tough. Like I can get where the production would get messed up and see 3 people on stage, and if someone's not immediately like rushing up to the mic to be like, okay, I think they're kind of done there. But yeah, it's brutal. It makes me cringe every time. I was just like, it just made me clench my teeth every time someone's getting played off. It is so uncomfortable because they never stop. Like once they commit to the playoff, they're like, we're not going to just cut the music off. We're just going to steamroll them off the stage. But yeah, let's get into the actual show now. So we're just going to go in chronological order of how the show went down, give kind of our thoughts on everything. So beginning with the opening monologue, like George mentioned, I thought it went pretty well. I thought he had a lot of great jokes. The Babylon slander hurt, not just because I loved the movie, but because like, I don't know, it's kind of shitty. Like everyone's there celebrating movies, and like everyone knows, like no one enjoys when their movie flops. Like I get the actors and actresses and all the people are still getting paid regardless, and it's like the production company is taking the hit, but no one likes to be a part of something that flops at the box office. So to make that joke, kind of that was the only one I had an issue with.
That was the only joke where I was like, damn, that's a little out of pocket. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel made a joke the last time he hosted about that the movie Matt Damon was in, The Great Wall. And he basically said the same thing, like, oh, it went on to lose like $150 million. But like, I don't know. That's a fine movie to like joke about that because it's like some shitty D tier.
And it wasn't nominated for anything, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. It wasn't nominated for anything. Babylon's here. It has 2 or 3 nominations to its name. Like
people in the room that were acted in it, produced it, like everything.
Yeah.
But
a best director winner already. Like that was just such an out of he said that joke and I was like, damn. Babylon really just caught that stray for no reason.
yeah, but it's fine, I guess. Like you got to take some risks, but I didn't love that one. But once we got through the opening monologue, we got into the awards, and there was a tweet that like said what the order was, and it seemed like either that was a false tweet or they changed it. But animated feature was up first. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio won the ReelTok award. We all assumed it would win.
Yeah.
I think we all are in agreement. We all enjoyed Puss in Boots: The Last Wish more, right? And I think Cam also agrees with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think Puss in Boots ever had a hope of winning. I'm like sorry to people who love this, George. I know you really liked it, but I'm really happy Marcel the Shell didn't win. Just because
I don't mind that at all. I'm happy it was nominated. I do think it was like if we considered animation, I do think it's top 5 of the year for me, but I still take Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio and Puss in Boots over it. I even take Apollo 10.5 over it, respectfully.
Agreed. Seth, did you ever see Marcel the Shell?
No, I came out here fairly recently, so I haven't got a chance to.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't love the movie, but also just like I don't really consider it full animation, especially when we've disqualified other things in the past. So I'm happy that it didn't end up winning. But I don't know. Anything else you want to add on animated feature? I feel like that was a really, really expected
It's obvious, wasn't
lock.
it?
Yeah.
Then we had documentary short, The Elephant Whispers. I believe Seth predicted that in our Oscars prediction. So I know Seth, like, he's seen Banshees of Inisherin a ton, but nothing compares to The Elephant Whispers. Like, you watch it. That's like your nightly. Yeah, that's your nightly watch.
It's a morning routine.
So huge on that one. And then we got George, who predicted documentary feature, right? Navalny. Big fan of Navalny.
Yeah, huge Navalny guy here. Just a big documentary guy in general.
Was that the Irish one? It was, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Because there was a different Irish one with Irish in the name that we'll get to later, like the Irish Goodbye. But yeah, the only documentary I ended up seeing was Fire of Love, and I really enjoyed it. But
I need to watch that. I'm actually intrigued. They're making a feature film out of that, aren't they?
Interesting. I don't know. It did really well, like both critically and both like when it went on Disney Plus. Like a lot of people ended up liking it. So.
Oh, is it on Disney Plus?
Yeah, that's because it's a National Geographic. I think is like who produced it. Like they get rolled up into Disney Plus. It's quite good. Now we're on to production design, and this is kind of where the beginning of the All Quiet on the Western Front might be making a push here because they won production design. Babylon was the odds-on favorite to win that one. All Quiet on the Western Front wasn't like a crazy upset, but they weren't the favorite. Let's start with George. What do you think?
I think I love that All Quiet like kind of just like slept its way through the Oscars and picked up 4 awards. And I tweeted this today. I think the Babylon Hive, and I'm a part of that Babylon Hive, it's top 10 of the year for me. They should be more upset about All Quiet winning production design over Babylon than score. I don't think All Quiet, and we'll get to score eventually, obviously. I don't think All Quiet winning score over Babylon is the craziest thing in the world. I would have picked Babylon, but All Quiet winning best production design over Babylon, that genuinely like took me back. Like I thought score was a lock, and I really thought Babylon was going to pick up that production design and walk away with multiple awards last night or 2 nights ago, whenever you're listening to this episode. But All Quiet they picked up production design, and that's where I sat back and I was like, wow, are we about to see like a BAFTAs night? Because the BAFTAs, All Quiet cleaned up. And like we kind of saw that. They obviously picked up 4 awards, and we'll get to them. But I don't think I'm so happy that All Quiet picked up a chunk of awards. But people need to be more upset about production design than score.
Seth, what do you think? You've obviously seen both. How do you feel about this?
When we did our predictions, I think who we want to win, I think I would have gone for Babylon. And I know that you mentioned it was the favorite on there, so I assumed it would win. That did surprise me, I'll be honest. Maybe not as much as score. Obviously we'll get on to score later, I said, but I was really expecting Babylon to win score. I wasn't like that fussed about it because I do think All Quiet on the Western Front's production value was really, really good designing across the board. But I don't know. I just had a feeling that the Babylon would take both of them, to be fair. And I think I wanted it to take production design as well. I think that was one of the strongest parts along with its music.
Right. And yeah, I agree. And the thing is, not what I look for, but when I was kind of ranking my own, like, because I posted a video of my rankings of each award for like costume design and production design, and we'll talk about production design now. One thing I really favor is when something's so diverse, like All Quiet on the Western Front's a war picture. they nail the production design, but it's kind of it's the production design of the movie. Whereas Babylon had, when they're acting in various different movies, they had the set designs for those movies they were doing, while also having crazy parties, extravagant parties. They were in the middle of the desert. So many different production designs that had to go into that. So that's why I kind of really wanted it to win this one, but it didn't. And that's the beginning of Babylon's night of going 0 for 3.
Night of terror. Should we bring up the other? So Babylon, Banshees, Elvis, Tar, Shut Out.
Yeah, I got the numbers right here, so we'll go into that right now. The Banshees of Inisherin goes 0 for 9. 9 award nominations, 0 wins.
Threw off like a script we had.
No, you're good. I just have like notes. I don't really have like an order script, but so I just have the numbers. So Banshees goes 0 for 9. I mean, I know there's a lot of awards it was nominated for that like it wasn't gonna win, like it just wasn't the favorite. But there was some. Like, I personally really think it's the best screenplay of the year.
That's what I was
Kerry
like.
Condon.
Holding. I didn't think it would win, like, what was it, cinematography, score, editing. I think it was nominated for editing.
Yeah.
Best picture. I didn't think it would win any of these. I didn't think it would win. I didn't think Colin Farrell would win best actor. I did think, though, I thought Kerry Condon could stand a chance.
She should have.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll get on to that.
Well, we'll get there.
We'll get there. But I did think that I was like holding out for best screenplay. I thought that maybe,
I'm telling you, and I know a lot of people don't believe in like, I guess the history of the awards or like
whatever
precursor events, but I'm telling you, historically, whoever wins that best original screenplay, it's like a crazy number where like 79% of the time they win best picture. And I don't think there was ever a chance that Banshees was going to win best picture, so they were never going to give it best original screenplay.
Would that also happen within like the technical achievements, like a production design and a score and stuff like that? Does that ever happen with like All Quiet on the Western Front as well, where it's like preempting it?
No. At the end of the day, the most important things to look out for before the Best Picture award is director, screenplay, and whether or not it got any acting nominations. That's why Parasite was fucking crazy winning, because they won a screenplay, they won director, but they are the only Best Picture winner, or I think they're one of like 2 Best Picture winners ever to not have an acting performance nominated, which is why people kept holding their breath before that Best Picture award, even though it picked up screenplay and director. They were like, are we really going to give an award to a Best Picture winner that has no acting nominations?
All right.
So it's trust me, there's a whole psychology behind the Oscars. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and it's pretty varied. Back to Seth's point, there's been times where there's a movie like Everything Ever All at Once didn't completely sweep. Like there was a couple that dropped, but like there's movies like this that kind of quote unquote sweep that get a lot of technical awards and also win Best Picture. And there's also plenty of times where there's movies that get tons of technical awards, but nothing that's like the big awards like actor, actress, or anything like picture. Usually, like, more sci-fi or technical movies that can happen. So I think screenplay is the only big one. But so Banshees 0 for 9. Very upsetting. Seth's #1 film of the year, and a film that we all genuinely rate pretty highly, so it's not like, Seth's an outlier here. Elvis also goes 0 for 9, and this is a movie that surprised me going 0 for 9 because we all are unanimous in agreeing that it's one of the weaker, if not like the weakest of like the best nominees this year for Best Picture. Yeah. But when you look at stuff like costume design, makeup and hairstyling, even the production design, I didn't love the cinematography nomination, but even the editing in it I thought was a solid nomination. Like I think there's a lot here that I'm surprised it didn't pick up at least one.
And it's a biopic. Right. Like that does add something surely to awards a lot of the time. So
and Austin Butler was incredible.
Yeah, hair and makeup, especially in what was the other one you said?
Production design, costume design.
Costume design, yeah. Hair and makeup, costume design, I could definitely say win. I've probably win at least one.
Elvis was one of those movies where I didn't pick it to win anything except Best Actor, but if it had picked up production design over Babylon, or All Quiet, I should say, actually, I would not have been upset, because it's one of those movies where they beautifully showed us designs of various decades across like Elvis's career. So I think it would have been worthy for a production design award. Everything else besides Best Actor just seemed like a very weird shoe-in. Like I don't know how it slipped its way into cinematography. I don't know how it slipped its way into editing. I can get the editing nomination, but I feel like a majority of people thought it was like choppy and very like dizzying at times. So that nomination kind of threw me off. But I'm a little happy that it didn't win any Oscars.
Well,
except Best Actor.
Yeah, the Offers did not end there because the Banshees 0 for 9, Elvis 0 for 9, the Fablemans goes 0 for 7, nothing for the Fablemans, which that one, Elvis and Banshee surprised me because I feel like there was a couple that for sure would win. Fablemans, based on everything that was happening the months before, I'm not really too surprised, but it went 0 for 7. Steven Spielberg, George, do you have any comments on how he makes movies based on what Jimmy Kimmel said?
Oh, that was so funny.
What did he say? I can't remember that.
Jimmy Kimmel basically made a joke that Steven Spielberg writes all of his scripts while just high as fuck.
And he said E.T.
I swear, bro, Steven Spielberg's face was like, bro, stop outing me right now. Like, that's exactly what I mean. Like the perfect example is, I joke about this with Victoria all the time. I'm convinced like Harry Styles and a lot of these big artists are just laced on LSD or some like intoxicant when they are writing music. I think it's the same with
especially E.T. The concept
like,
is
there's no doubt in my mind that the Daniels were on something when they were writing everything everywhere all at once.
Swiss Army Man.
Yeah, like there's no doubt in my mind that they were I don't know, maybe they were microdosing or something, but they were on something when they were writing that shit. And Steven Spielberg's face just made me lose my mind because he was literally sitting there like, bro, shut the fuck up.
But so that was an awkward moment of the opening monologue, but it was funny for sure because Steven Spielberg just caught so off guard. But yeah,
that got 7 nominations. Did you say?
Yeah. What did I say?
Supporting actor, director, best picture, best actress.
I think I might have score in there. Maybe.
Score. Yeah, did you?
So
score.
they start tallying up.
Yeah.
I saw some of an interview with Gabriel LaBelle when he was on the red carpet before going in. Love that dude. I hope he's going to be in a lot more stuff. The guy who played young Steven Spielberg. I thought he was phenomenal in the movie. Easily the shining light of the cast from the younger characters. Whereas Paul Dano and Michelle Williams were obviously great. Even Seth Rogen was great. But yeah, that was just such an awkward moment. Now picturing Seth Rogen and Steven Spielberg in the crowd, like they're both just like,
They're like, yo, stop fucking talking.
Okay, and then Tar also 0 for 6. I think for obviously Cate Blanchett was the one that everyone's holding their breath to win. The other 5, it was just up against stiff competition. Even though I didn't love the movie, I thought the screenplay was really tight. I thought the directing was very good. So Todd Field just was honestly just outclassed in terms of the other people he was up against. But Tar goes home empty-handed. Seth, I know you said Tar literally made you feel like you fell back in love with movies again, or was falling in love with movies for the first time. So disappointed to see it go 0 for 6 like Banshees went 0 for 9.
No, because but I think like you said, cinematography I can see it, but then I could never see it being all quiet on the rest front. I would personally have it like the same, but then I kind of get that one. Best actress, I would have probably had Cate Blanchett, but the way Everything Everywhere at Once was kind of clear and it was obvious. I think it was editing. I think it was obviously best picture. Don't see that happening. I can't remember the other one. Oh, best director. Don't see that happening. And screenplay just didn't see happening. So it's like I that Tar is just a thing where I'm glad he got nominations because it was my number 2 of the year. It's not like Banshees where I think it stood a chance and I would really, really give it to it. Whereas Tar, I think it just came against. If that was another year, a strong year in a lot of those categories, I think it would have taken a few. Because I do think it's quite an Oscars film as well, I guess, especially with Cate Blanchett as the lead. But I'm not that annoyed about it. I love the film. But like you said, it came up against like hard things in this category, and it wasn't realistically going to win much if Cate Blanchett didn't win the Best Actress anyway. Right.
Yeah, and that makes sense what you're saying. Like, even though it was your number 1 and 2, Banshees and Tar, Banshees was the one you more felt deserved like the awards compared to in the categories. Whereas Tar, as much as you'd love to see it take awards, so you loved it, not too upset about the misses. And then the 2 more that got shut out that were nominated for multiple. Triangle of Sadness goes 0 for 3. That was like the lowest favorite in every single category it was in, so that's not really a big surprise.
Even Best Picture.
Yeah, it was the lowest in that as well.
Really?
So it won the Cannes Film Festival, but after that, it just didn't really have much steam. And then Babylon, of course, we've already talked about it, also went 0 for 3. So those are all the big movies that were nominated for multiple awards that all were shut out. But now we'll run back into kind of our rundown. So at this point in the show, Sophia Carson and Diane Warren performed Applause from Tell It Like a Woman. And like I tweeted, I just think it's a very mid song from a horrible movie. Like that movie's genuinely just awful and bad and terrible.
I've never heard of it. And then you sent your review and it's like half a star.
That was your half star, right?
Yeah.
Or not This Is a Woman, Tell It Like a Woman. But basically it's a movie that's like 6 different narratives that are like short feature films that are all bunched into one and just all different narratives of, womanhood. And it's not just me being a woman hater. Like this is a movie that everyone's rating horribly,
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah. Well, because like I posted on my letterbox review, I like watched it and reviewed it on International Women's Day. I'm like, this just feels wrong, but this movie just sucks.
Why would you should have waited a few days to post your review for that.
Yeah. Otherwise, well, I felt better because it's like just across the board, everyone just dislikes that movie, and not just like I'm not an outlier like I was with 65. Like everyone's giving this, like even Cinema Joe gave it like a 1 star or something. But
fair enough.
So yeah, then we got back into the awards, and this is where a movie that people were thinking would be shut out, but it wasn't. Top Gun Maverick picked up Best Sound. Cool. Like no one was there from the production of the movie. Yeah. But cool. I don't know.
Wait, no one was there. I didn't notice. To be fair.
Well, Miles Teller was there, but like he didn't
go on stage.
Yeah, he didn't go.
Yeah, like Tom Cruise wasn't
the Best Sound award, wasn't it? Like, well, Tom Cruise is just he doesn't go to any of them, does he? Does he?
I don't know, actually. I can't really remember seeing him at one before.
He was not there.
He's busy doing his meetings. We'll leave it at
that. Perfectly said. And then we got to International Feature Film, which, I mean, Argentina in 1985 won one of them in the precursors. I think it was the Golden Globes or something.
Golden Globes, yeah.
But after that, it was All Quiet on the Western Front sweeping. And especially with how this night was shaping up, even before that, like, this was a lock. This was a lock.
It wouldn't have made sense if they'd nominated a Best Picture and they didn't win.
Exactly.
Best International Feature Film. It wouldn't make sense at all.
Right. But shout out to The Quiet Girl. We all watched it. We all enjoyed it. Seth really, really enjoyed it. Shout out to The Quiet Girl. Shout out to Close because I absolutely love the movie Close.
I haven't seen it yet.
EO, on the other hand, like it was just like a fine movie. I don't know. And, you don't
Did Bardo get nominated for? Or was that cinematography?
It didn't. It only got cinematography.
Okay, cinematography. I need to watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whack movie. And then next up, literally the lock of the century, other than Ki Hui Kwan, but visual effects, Avatar: The Way of Water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you just imagine if something else won that?
It'd be a very Oscars thing to do. What was it up against?
That award came like
Wakanda
after
Forever won it or something. That was hilarious. Bro.
I'm pretty sure it was All Quiet in visual effects. I'm pretty sure All Quiet was next.
Yeah, and Top Gun Maverick, I believe.
And then, this award, visual effects, came after like All Quiet had won like 2 or 3 at this point, and that's when people were starting to speculate, like, "Oh my God, sweep coming!"
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, "There's no fucking way." I was like, "There's absolutely no goddamn shot that Avatar does not win this award." But there was like a part of me where I was like, "We could be seeing
that would have been crazy.
The craziest All Quiet sweep ever here."
It would have been great marketing if they give it to someone else against Avatar. He would be all over socials about that.
Oh my God,
crazy.
Yeah, that was not even there.
It was a lock, and that was the one, of course, where they played off that was just so bad on Two Fronts because they played off the visual effects team. They played them off the stage, and then like right into Jimmy Kimmel making like a joke undercutting the work like visual effects artists do. Basically, be like, "Oh, you guys never see your families, and you're gonna have a happy hour TGI Fridays after this." Like, I get it. We all know they're underpaid and underworked, but like we shouldn't be making jokes about it. We should be like bringing awareness to it in a way of like, let's change this culture, you know.
Did you see the camera go on Paul Mescal when they cut him off? I thought it was quite funny.
Yeah, he was like, sheesh.
Yeah.
Paul Mescal was the biggest vibe all night. He was literally sitting there like, I shouldn't be here right now.
He was really sitting by. Was he right by Michelle Yeoh, or
he was literally right?
Was he next to Michelle Yeoh?
No. Kate Blanchett.
He was in front of Sigourney Weaver next to his mom. That's what I remember seeing.
I thought he was by someone huge because they kept showing. Because he kept being like in the background.
He was next to. I thought he was next to Angela. Who was next to Angela Bassett? I could have sworn it was Paul Mescal.
Sorry. I can't remember. Is it?
I could have sworn it was Paul Mescal, or someone was right there next to Angela Bassett, like holding her hand. It was either like Andrew Garfield or Paul Mescal, or just one of these younger stuff.
Oh, Andrew Garfield looks so good, man. Fucking hell.
He's got to keep that.
Did you see my tweet about him?
Bro, did you see my tweet about Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors?
Yeah,
I was like, these are some goddamn good-looking dudes.
I tweeted like, as soon as Andrew Garfield, I was like, this man looks scrumptious. You know, like he looks gorgeous. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's some
Honestly.
other dudes at that Oscars last night.
All I tweeted
man,
about Jonathan
jealous.
Majors was it looked like he got fitted for that suit before his last like HGH cycle because that suit did not fit him. That suit did not look
Bro,
good.
I was looking at it. The tie was like.
It did look a little
bad.
My
baggy.
girlfriend was like, "That suit's awful on him. Like, what is he wearing?
if you-
It looked wrinkly and like."
Yeah. Do you know if you were like, if you went to the Oscars, would you take a risk or would you just do what majority of them do and just wear a black suit?
No, I would just wear a black suit.
Are you saying as,
Yeah,
like,
I
you're
like to
saying
say
like,
I would
as an
perform-
influencer going, or are you saying like if we in an alternate reality if we're like a huge actor?
It doesn't really. Someone who's going to be on camera, so an actor, someone in film, high up in film. Would you take a risk or would you just wear a black suit? I'd wear a black suit. I'll be honest.
I'm doing black suit.
Black suit.
Paul Mescal
I'd do a
took a
black
bit of a
suit.
risk. And Pedro did.
He's always been a risk
Yeah,
taker.
he's got a mullet. He's got a mullet.
Yeah, he's never been like just a straight suit guy.
Did you see Pedro's like baggy trousers?
Yeah, he had baggy trousers too.
Yeah, they were a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love like Samuel L. Jackson's suit because like I mentioned this to Riley. I was like, I love that he just wearing like black pants and a normal gray suit because I'm like, once you get to like that stage, it's like, nah, like I'm just throwing on the first blazer I see in my closet. Like,
Literally.
Yeah.
this is
How
just
many has he been to now? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Probably, fuck is it?
Yeah, yeah. But so then I just realized the rundown I'm going through on this website, it like because I know the supporting actress and actors were early in the awards, but it's kind of seems like it's saving, all awards are equal, but it's saving like the bigger ones towards like the top of this list. So we're gonna get to those towards the end because we're also just gonna have more to say about them. Live action short, An Irish Goodbye won. So Banshees of Inisherin 0 for 9. The Quiet Girl didn't win. Basically, no Irish awards were won, except An Irish Goodbye was able to pick up a win. So good job, Ireland. You didn't go home
Big up the Irish
empty-handed.
family.
And then they sang Happy Birthday, of course. That was such a cool moment on stage.
Oh, that was great. I love that.
Yeah.
That
Just
was
I love how they
nice.
were just like so quick with their acceptance speech, just like spit it out and they're like, all right, we're gonna use the rest of our time to sing Happy Birthday. That was iconic.
Yeah. That was great.
And then cinematography, All Quiet on the Western Front. I remember when this movie first came out, George said immediately, he's like, that's now my number one cinematography of the year. And it finished this year strong and ended up taking home the Oscar. So George, you happy about that win?
So my opinion on that ended up changing because I had not seen Decision to Leave. I think Decision to Leave
Right, it
should
came
have
out
been
before.
nominated. Yeah, All Quiet came out for. Decision to Leave was my number one best cinematography contender of the year. But of the nominees, I'm really, really happy that All Quiet took this award home. I have just such like a soft spot for like, and I don't want to sound like dark, but like a war aesthetic. I think there's just a lot you can do. And I think like, especially, I didn't think any war film following up 1917 would hold a candle to it. And I don't think All Quiet quite holds a candle to 1917.
Did 1917 win best cinematography?
Yeah, of course. Roger
Did
Deakins.
it? Okay, I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's Roger Deakins. Yeah, of course. It is.
Yeah, but just for the fact that we had another war film come out that like kind of touches 1917 just blew my mind, and I absolutely adored it. I think the cinematography category was, and I know we spoke about this all the time, but like the fact that Decision to Leave wasn't there is crazy. The fact that the Batman wasn't there is crazy. I would have even liked to see Top Gun there. Like there were so many omissions that just didn't necessarily make sense to me, and this was the one category where I was like, it literally felt like they just put every film that came out this year into a hat and just picked 5.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
And it was very odd. But
What were
of the
the-
nominees, I am happy that All Quiet took this one home.
What were the 5? It was Tar, Elvis.
Was Bardo, Empire
Bard-
of Light.
Yep. you
Empire
got it.
and
Yeah.
also okay.
Yeah, Tar, Elvis, and All Quiet.
Out of them, for me, it would be between Tar and All Quiet. I don't mind All Quiet winning that at all. I think that'd probably be my like top 3, top 5 cinematography of the year anyway. Probably top 3 actually, with Tar and Decision to Leave. I know we've banged on about it, but I just don't understand the Decision to Leave and Mission. It's in more than one category, but if you're going to choose one, specifically cinematography, it's just the kind of weird nominees. I haven't seen Bardo yet, admittedly. Actually, I haven't seen Empire of Light, but Empire of Light was Roger Deakins, so I guess it's Roger Deakins. It kind of makes sense. But Elvis cinematography is just kind of a weird one to me. But out of them, I was happy with Tar or All Quiet winning. I think All Quiet looks great, and yeah, technically just a amazing film, like flawless technically, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Agreed.
just back to Decision to Leave, not to harp on this, but it is so crazy that it was just completely shut out. Like, I would have loved a score nomination, a Best Actress nomination, a Director nomination, a Picture nomination. Like, the fact that it was
This is the thing.
International Film nomination, it's so fucking annoying.
This is the thing. It's not like I say cinematography and you say cinematography. It's like that's the only thing you could be nominated for. I seriously, out of things I've seen, and I've seen majority apart from a couple of the international features. actress, maybe even no. I haven't seen Bill Nighy yet, so Tang Wei 100% for actress.
Yeah.
Park Chan-wook 100% for director.
Yes.
Was in my top 10. It's in my top 10. So best picture nomination, cinematography, score, maybe even editing. It's not even just like cinematography. This could have gone in so many different categories. And I think that might. How often do films get a nomination for just one category? Like, does it happen often? Did it happen last night?
A Quiet Girl, yeah.
I feel like if it's an American film, it's pretty rare to just only get one nomination. I feel like you're either getting a couple or getting none. But I feel like for international films, like one.
I don't mean like the international feature films. I mean like a technical nomination for just one.
I guess Bardo only got one.
Yeah, Empire of Light only got one too.
I just don't get it. It makes no sense to me. I just don't understand that at all.
Agreed. We are all decision to leave stands here.
For sure.
Then there was another performance. David Byrne, Stephanie Hsu, and Sunlocks performs "This Is a Life." Solid performance. It sucks and we'll talk about the supporting actrors later, but it sucks because Stephanie Hsu had to go up on there and perform that after like losing. Yeah. But also like she wasn't really expected to win, but also
I don't think she's that bothered though. To be fair.
Yeah, it's just tough because like everyone else literally won awards from that movie except her. But yeah, I don't know.
He didn't, and he was holding one in the picture.
Who
the
didn't?
old bloke. The fucking what's his name? The old one.
The 94-year-old.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Give it to the better performance in the picture. Jesus Christ, man.
Oh, man. The next award was, like, the most surprising for me of the night, weirdly. Not in terms of the winner, but just, like, what... I didn't realize the whale was, like, digital makeup, but makeup and hairstyling went to the whale. It was the battle of the fat suits between the Batman, the whale, and Elvis, and the winner of the fat suits was the whale. But I didn't realize, because they, like, showed all that after they announced the winner, that it was, like, all done, like, digitally, which I just thought it was a fat suit. I didn't know.
I tweeted about it straight away, and I was like, it'd be so funny if Brendan Fraser just walked out in the fat suit. I just thought I would die, but I didn't realize it was digital. Kind of weird. I still don't agree with the win. I think it's kind of weird. I don't know.
I feel like it's a very one-note movie for makeup and hairstyling. It's Brendan Fraser, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, did it look that good?
It's also, and I'm gonna keep bringing up All Quiet, but like All Quiet, you have to run through scenes where they have like cement on their face, mud on their face, like.
I'd rather like 5 films win it than The Whale. I think.
I'd agree.
That was a very shocking. That's a category I don't really care about, but even I was like, that's a surprising win over Elvis, especially over like
it's weird,
Babylon and All Quiet, and even the Batman. Like I would have loved that to be the sole Batman W. And just watch like Colin Farrell go accept this award or something
in Penguin. Pulls it out. Yeah, it's weird. I don't get that one at all.
Yeah, and the next award, which I've come around to a bit, so costume design was won by Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. The only reason I've come around to it because I feel like a lot of people, the reason people, including me, dislike the costume design of this movie is I think the suits were pretty poor. But when they were showing clips, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like other than like the actual like heroes themselves, like all the people in Wakanda, like, the costume design's pretty metal for that movie.
It's a lot of the special effects I think were pretty bad, and the actual hero suits, like you say, but the actual I don't even know what Wakandan suits that they wear, especially in the little ceremonies they have and stuff like that. They do look very, very good. So at first I was like, what's the girl called who had the terrible suit? Ironheart?
Ironheart. Right.
I was like, some of them looked shit when they were on the when they were fighting in the water, etc.
Yeah.
But then when you do look back to it and they actually showed the clips, it's like, yeah, it kind of makes sense.
I think it's the same what Tyler said about production design, where like All Quiet just kind of felt one note across production design, where Babylon had to like kind of adapt to different settings. Wakanda Forever and costume design, like it's not one note. Like there's a million different varieties.
Did it win? Did it win the first time?
Won in 2018 too. So like I'm happy Black Panther took home at least one award. This one made the most sense, and again, like Tyler said, it wasn't one note. Like they had to come up with so many different costume designs for this movie. It's like, give it the recognition it deserves. I would have liked to see Babylon win this award too, and the Batman.
Yeah, that one.
And then we had an animated short that went to The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. I think I might have predicted this one.
I don't think I got
predictions, but yeah, I don't know. It's cool. Good job. You have a lot.
I might try watching these, man. Where are they available?
That one's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, pretty much every one is available to be streamed. There's like a website called like The New Yorker that produced like a couple of them, and then like everything else is on like either Hulu or Disney. Like they're all pretty readily available. So
I might go through them.
Yeah, I mean they're quick watches, like a good thing, you know, while you're eating a meal or something. But next up, original score. Okay, I won't. Maybe my bias will say snub of the night, but you know,
It's not a snub. It's not a snub.
And the thing is, like people, like because I posted like you know, Babylon snub for this award, and then like people were replying like to my Instagram story, being like, "It's a shit movie. Like no wonder it didn't win." I'm like, okay, even the people who don't like it, I don't think a single soul in this world has said they didn't like the music. Like the score is still so good, and the fact that it lost to the dubstep Foghorn was a little upsetting to me. But
I don't like that.
Do you know what? Go on, George. I'll say that.
I was gonna say, I don't know why Babylon became like the clear favorite or like everyone's expected favorite to win this award. It wasn't sweeping awards season in original score. Like All Quiet on the Western Front picked up awards. I think people just kind of accepted the fact that Babylon wasn't going to get a director or a picture or an acting nomination. So people just kind of shoot it in for score and like built it up to be like the favorite. And like, yeah, I would have picked it. I like the score better than All Quiet, but an All Quiet win here. Again, the Babylon Hive should be way more pissed off about production design than score. Score, All Quiet winning is not the craziest thing in the world.
I thought that I actually really like All Quiet score. I actually, you know, every time they won, they did that. I actually quite like it. I think it sounds quite cool.
Yeah.
I like that. But I will say the reason I thought that. I prefer Babylon score a little bit, but I don't really care about it winning. The reason I think it was surprising, the reason I expected to win is it's just a lot more in your face as a score, isn't it? It's more musical note that you can kind of, I don't know how to, it's like a celebratory musical note. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. So it did surprise me. It didn't win the Oscar because the score itself is more in your face. You probably recognize the score a lot more, whereas the All Quiet one is a little bit more subdued, sort of tense. And I don't know. This is coming from someone who doesn't watch the Oscars, so I don't know where they usually reward scores. I don't know what the ones usually award, but I thought it did really surprise me. But then I think at the same time, All Quiet was in my kind of like top 3 anyway. So it's not a Banshee score. The Banshee score is great, but I wouldn't give it. But just want to get that out there. It's great.
My top 5 of the year were The Batman, Babylon, All Quiet, Decision to Leave, and Banshees.
That's a great top 5. That's what it says to me, to be fair. Yeah, Batman. Shout out Batman.
Again, I would have picked Babylon. I would have given it to Batman. If I had a vote, it would have gone to Babylon of the nominees. But again, it is not that crazy that All Quiet won. I think people freaking out about that. I was just like,
I think people started this like, I do think Babylon's was the best, but I think Babylon has such a community on Twitter that people just rallied for it to win best score.
Yeah.
And you've got people posting the same clip of the Voodoo Mama and the same every day. So it gets to the point where everyone's like, yeah, it's a lock, but like, is it a lock? Or are we just gathering a campaign on Twitter to make you think it's a lock, whereas actually it's not? Did it win much?
Didn't win
as a
anything.
score?
Oh, across award season? Yeah.
How
Justin Hurwitz picked up a couple of awards.
Did he pick up a couple? Okay,
Yeah.
But did he like majority or?
I don't know. It was a.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was
There was no
split.
like.
All-
I don't know if he picked up the majority, but he
won
picked up the
awards.
most.
Okay, so he did pick up the most. Fair enough. I just think it's a massive it's a Twitter film. It's very much a Twitter film, Babylon.
Yeah, I just wish the Academy didn't use Voodoo Mama in their like promotional material for the entire week leading up to the Oscars. Like it's like the best score of the year.
Cam wasn't happy about that, was he?
Yeah, that was.
I do get that. That's kind of weird. Yeah.
It's just kind of weird to me because like I think Babylon on Twitter and like Letterboxd and stuff obviously gets great reviews, but critically like has been so poorly received. So then just to be like the Hollywood elites all shitting on the movie and then just like using it for the entire like advertising campaign with the music is kind of like, okay, what are you doing here?
Did The Wolf of Wall Street pick anything up?
I don't know.
I just don't know if it's like a thing with that sort of film where it didn't. Nothing at all. Just because that's quite comparable, isn't it, in the way it's presented?
Like very audacious and
yeah, I don't know if that. Yeah, I don't know, man.
It lost Best Actor, I know, to Matthew McConaughey. It lost Best Supporting Actor to
Jonah Hill. Yeah, it was
Leto.
Jared Leto. Yeah.
Let's see. Here we go. It won nothing.
Yeah.
It wasn't even nominated.
Conspiracy theory. Wait until the next like 3-hour fucking audacious film to come out and it'll win nothing, and then you'll see. Just saying. They don't like those sort of films.
Yeah, good to keep in mind. And then we had a performance by the people who won Best Original Song, Natu Natu, performed by Rahul Siplagunj and Kaala Bhairava. I just thought that performance was so electric. That was so awesome. The dancing on stage,
fun,
the whole performance, and everything around that blew me away. I loved it so much. I thought it was so good.
Yeah, I just wish the actors had done it. That'd have been great.
Yeah, hold on. I want to pull something up actually around this performance that one of my friends tweeted.
The Nazi performance.
Yeah, so one of my friends put on their story, absolutely crazy to me how Natu Natu, a Telugu song, gets nominated for an Oscar, and the Academy chooses a non-Indian choreographer and a cast of non-Indian dancers to perform this song at the event. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
That was interesting, to be fair.
Yeah,
I don't know. I was kind of hoping, obviously it wouldn't happen, but I was kind of hoping the actors would do it.
I wanted them to. I knew they wouldn't, probably.
Yeah, obviously they wouldn't, but like it also like that. What I just read does not change my experience with it. Like I still thought it was an electric performance, but I'm a little surprised that like that fact isn't like putting people more up in arms.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
I didn't say anything about that. Yeah, I didn't see anything about that at all. So it kind of makes sense. It's surprising, but I enjoyed it. I think it's good. I really like the song anyway, so I'm glad it won. It got some recognition because obviously it missed out. It didn't get submitted for international feature of it anyway.
Right, yeah.
Which it wouldn't have won, but it would be nice. But, you know.
Right, but yeah, I was always wondering what that song, like, how it was going to translate to a stage performance, because it's the Lady Gaga and Rihanna songs, like those are very obvious, like how they're just going to go up on stage and sing the song. Whereas Natu Natu, I was like, how are they going to do this? And I thought that the way they did it was the best. Even they could have used better, people like from South Asia in terms of their performance. But I thought the performance itself, for what it was, I thought it was incredible.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. It was good.
And then the next, so now we're kind of into like the big awards. So best editing went to Everything Everywhere All at Once. What was that between? That was between Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I guess Elvis was one of the favorites for that as well.
Yeah, Elvis, Top Gun,
Banshee,
Everything Everywhere, and I think Banshees as well was in there.
Yeah.
This doesn't surprise. I would have probably given it 7 awards anyway, so I kind of get this one. It's understandable, definitely.
Yeah.
Editing is also always it's always an interesting category because there's never a favorite, because I don't think anyone really knows how to define editing as well as like the Academy does.
Editing can be also just preference all the time as well. Like anything. It's hard to define what.
Again, like a lot of people like love the editing of Elvis. I know a lot of people find it dizzying. So I guess it depends who you talk to, but Everything Everywhere just seemed like an easy fit for this one.
Yeah, I mean, with everything else, you kind of knew that it was going to get it anyway. That was quite late on when you got it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was late on.
And I don't know. Like the thing that's weird for me about putting all these different categories for movie awards is the lines get so blurred, because cinematography is telling a story through the lens. How is the camera moving? How's it shot? How's it blocked? Editing is, how is it all cut together? But then at the same time, like the director still has so much input on both the way the film is edited as well as the way the cinematographer is working, the director of photography is shooting the shots. So it's like they're all collaborative at the end of the day behind the scenes. It's kind of weird to me, like that's why editing is like a hard one for me, because it was edited really well, but like I don't think the editing team is just handed like all the film and just says cut this into a movie. I feel like
I think it's just to give credit to the individual job titles and the cinematographers, the editors, and stuff like that, because they don't get spoken about ever, really. You don't hear about great editors a lot of the time, do you?
Right. So it's awesome that they got awarded. And now we're into the screenplays, and we get into the actors and the best picture. So best adapted screenplay went to Women Talking, which was a huge surprise for me. I really wanted it to win. It was the favorite odds-wise, but the way the night was going, I was stunned that All Quiet on the Western Front didn't pick up this award with how many other ones it won.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy Women Talking picked up the award. Just kind of
that would have. I think that would have blew up film Twitter if Everything Everywhere won adapted. I mean, All Quiet won adapted, and then Everything Everywhere and won original screenplay, and then it's just like this 2-horse race for best picture. Once Women Talking won that award, I was like, okay, All Quiet's chances are done. And I'm, again, like you said, I'm stunned it didn't win best adapted screenplay. I really thought this movie was just picking up award after award, and I thought that would be like the most craziest win ever.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I just thought about it now. I'm surprised I didn't win, to be honest. Not because I think it's a better film. I haven't seen Women Talking yet, but just because of how much else they got. It's quite surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, I totally agree. And then original screenplay.
It's also,
go ahead. No, keep going.
No, just one thing. It's interesting that that Women Talking was like the odds fate. I know it picked up basically every adapted screenplay award throughout award season, but it's still shocking because like I feel like All Quiet was received better than Women Talking. I feel like Glass Onion was even received better than Women Talking by like most people. Yeah, so I don't know. That was such an interesting like I picked it in both my pools. Like I thought it was going to win just because of its odds favorite and what it
Was
did
it a big
throughout
favorite?
award season.
It was like minus
I don't know.
250, so like a favorite,
Oh,
but
so
not
fairly.
Yeah.
favorite then.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a very interesting win.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really loved Women Talking. I think it's like it's in my top 10 of the year. I don't know where it is. I think it might be at like 5 or 6 for 2022. But yeah, I was surprised it won because
Is that
when they
5-star? Or
4.5. It was like right under.
High.
But yeah, so I found it. I don't know. So they showed all the Best Picture nominees ranked by like how much box office it brought in. And Women Talking was the last. I think it had like 9 million. So everyone always chirps the Academy saying, you know, not every Academy voter even watches all the nominees, which I think is absolutely true. And I think Women Talking of the nominees is like the one that I feel like the least of them watched. Like if you're gonna miss one, I feel like that's one they all missed. So the fact that it won just surprised me because I feel like All Quiet, you know, it's a Netflix movie. Like anyone in the Academy could have just random night just be like, oh, I'll just turn on Netflix. Or Women Talking is
Also,
such a limited
just-
release.
On the name alone, All Quiet on the Western Front is
Right.
one of the most famous novels and films, original films ever.
Yeah. And it
So
won
it's
Best
very
Picture in
surprising.
like 1930. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Weird. I don't know.
yeah,
Good for
but-
Women Talking. though.
Yeah, I'm happy to see it pick up an award there. And then we had Lady Gaga performing "Hold My Hand," which was an
Your
interesting
tweet was
performance. So
funny.
it was a very stripped down
Cinematography.
performance, which was, I mean, it makes sense why it was so stripped down because like she didn't announce
Yeah.
until like yesterday she wasn't performing. But did that mean like I get that you couldn't create a big set design or production design, but does that mean you have to be zoomed in like on her?
weird.
Not even her face. It's like from eye to mouth. Like it was like her like.
I was really confused by it, man. Like, it was so weird. Oh,
What,
God.
was it
And-
like because she was wearing a super extravagant dress on the red carpet, and then stripped down to like you know
It's
a black
just-
t-shirt and like no makeup? So was it like just like I feel like basically like I want this performance to be raw and show my emotion and strip down, like show that I'm like not wearing makeup and show my emotions on my face. So like the production team is like, okay, by that we mean we will just show only your face, nothing else.
It's really weird. Really weird. I didn't get it.
Yeah, but I mean her voice was amazing, but the
Well, it's
way
Lady
they
Gaga.
yeah the way they filmed it was just really weird.
Yeah, best cinematography right there.
Yeah. And then we had the other performance was Rihanna performing "Lift Me Up," and that was very good. You know, nothing.
Dude, I
didn't blow
don't
me
love
away.
that song. I have to be
I don't need like I can't listen to it in the
I don't love
radio.
it.
I think it's way too boring of a song. Which like
Yeah,
always-
I think it's
maybe I'm
kinda
not a
dull.
music snob, but to me that song is just such a snoozer.
Yeah,
It starts so strong and then the flow just kind of like cancels
Just
me out.
dies down a little bit. doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like once the Super Bowl happened, I was like in a Rihanna kick, and "Lift Me Up" is one of our highest listened to songs. So if you just like press play on Spotify and it's going through most popular, that one always comes on, and every time it's like
Always
skip,
the
like
first
get
one,
the
yeah.
song.
Yeah, it's a skip. It's a skip.
Bring back the bangers. Okay, so all we have left is the actor and actress awards and the best picture. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the in memoriam because I don't know, the in memoriam felt super rushed to me. Like I feel like normally you sit with it a lot longer, and the biggest thing for
Sorry.
it's what all the people in film community that died the past year when they had Lenny Kravitz on stage playing the piano and like so they do that every year. But the big one was they missed Charlie B. Dean, which is just crazy.
So weird.
Because Triangle of Sadness was nominated for 3 awards, and she's not a supporting actress; she's the main actress in that movie.
Actress.
And that was so wild. I was waiting for her to come on. Like I was like, well, what's going on here?
Not that this would like make a difference to death, obviously, but it's not like she was died of old age or something. She was in like her early 30s. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
This is
Yeah,
a
very
really,
young.
really sad thing to happen, and to not include her. Fucking nominated for Best Picture, like the lead
Yeah.
actress. It's crazy that wasn't shown.
So crazy.
I didn't actually notice. I didn't think about it. I saw someone tweet and I was like, "Fuck, that's so true." It's
Yeah.
weird, really weird.
I don't know how they missed that because the way they do it is they just do like an abbreviated version on the Oscars, and then like they said at the end like for like the full, you know, everyone who died see the one. So I'm sure she's in that one, but still to not have her in that
When did she
presentation.
when did she
wild.
pass?
She passed like a month before the film came out.
Yeah, it was like probably August or something. I don't know, summer of
Yeah.
last year.
I was gonna say maybe if she passed like a week or two ago, they didn't want to like re-edit shit. Then that
no,
made
it was
sense,
before
but,
the
like,
film even came out.
Yeah.
that's tragic. Damn.
Yeah, which I didn't even know until I left the theater, and I was like, it gave me like crazy goosebumps because it's just such a weird thing. You like
Yeah.
watch a movie and like, wait, what? That like 30-year-old
That's like
actress
a
I just
young,
watched died.
young
Like,
person as well.
yeah,
Yeah, it's weird.
Wild. And yeah, that was just very weird. But, you know, In Memoriam was fine. Other than that, they missed a couple other actors and actresses, but it's kind of expected. But to have one that's nominated for three Oscars is wild. But let's get into the best supporting actor and actress now. So one is...
Did we do screenplay? Did we do screenplay?
Yeah, we just did original screenplay and adapted screenplay. Oh, yeah, original screenplay we skipped over. So Everything Ever All at Once won that, sorry. Which I thought Banshee should have won. But I can see why Everything Ever All at Once would win. Like, okay, I can totally see why in terms of like the awards and how that works formulaically. But I wasn't nearly as high on Banshees as the other people on the ReelTok podcast. But I still think the writing and the screenplay was so bang on and the best part of it. So I don't know. Unfortunately,
I was hoping after that because I think the strongest part of Martin McDonagh as a director is his writing. Yeah. And it just, I don't know, like, I wasn't expecting it to because Everything All at Once was kind of, you know, sweeping up these awards and stuff, like when it got best director and stuff like that. But I do think that screenplay, again, it's all opinion based, but I think that based on writing alone, I believe personally the Banshees were the strongest in that list anyway.
I'm all about the formulas. There was no doubt in my mind Everything Everywhere was going to win this award because there was no doubt in my mind it was going to be a front runner for Best Picture, and that would not have been the case if it did not at least win.
I hate
screenplay.
Like, I agree. Like, I think there is a formula there, but I hate that. You know what I mean? Like, just hate how there's a formula there. Like, why can't we just separate it and just give these other films, you know, an award? If they're getting Best Picture, look at the writing and then understand. Okay, that maybe Everything Ever Once you think it had a better overall. I just the formula thing, I don't like it. It kind of puts me off because it's like you almost know who's going to win, even if you think someone else stands a chance because they've won certain other awards beforehand.
Yeah,
that's probably why I've never watched the Oscars before, because that irritates me. Like watching it, it takes away the excitement almost.
Yeah. I can agree on that front. Award season is too long, and all the precursors can get really annoying. But yeah, Everything Ever All at Once takes it home, which basically locked it in for winning Best Picture. But Best Supporting Actor was the lock of the century, Ke Huy Quan. I mean, he delivered and more. Like, his acceptance speech was incredible. All the clips we've seen of Ke Huy Quan from that night were just awesome. So happy that he actually got the award. It's just one of those things that even though you know it's the lockiest of locks, like I'm still like holding my breath when they're announcing. I'm like, please don't say Judd Hirsch right now or something.
If they'd have said Judd Hirsch, you know, because they were speaking about him quite a lot, weren't they?
Yeah.
There was like a part of me that really thought that Barry Keoghan's name was going to get called. I don't know why, but like there was like, if you look at my like the TikTok I posted, the reaction, bro, I was like, oh my God. I was a little nervous for a second. Like, I don't know why I had like that doubt in my mind, but like for some reason I was like, the Oscars are going to do something to like fuck up our day. And like,
that would make my day, mister. I don't get the Judd Hirsch nomination. I do not understand that nomination at all. I think Judd Hirsch as a nomination is like here. And then I even, what's his name? Brian
Tyree Henry.
He was great. I really liked him. Him, Barry, Brendan, Ke Huy Quan just above them. Judd Hirsch is like down here for me. I don't get that. I really, that's such a weird nomination in my opinion. It's just name wise, I think anyway. But I'm glad Ke Huy Quan won. It's nice seeing his speech as always.
W win.
Yeah, W man, W gentleman. I like
it. Speaking of nominees, where there's 4 that are up here and 1 way down here, Seth correctly predicted this, and so yeah, I'll go to him first. Jamie Lee Curtis is your best supporting actress of 2022. Seth, what is your reaction?
She was so good. I don't know, man. Like fucking. Thing is, I do think she was good and she was serviceable and she did exactly what she needed to do. But like, she wasn't even the best supporting actress in the fucking film. Crazy. I think actually I was going to do a tier list for this. I haven't posted it yet. I've got it in my drafts, but I literally had a tier like A, B, C, D of supporting actors and actresses, and I have like Jamie Lee Curtis in D. I think she was good, and then like Kerry Condon, Stephanie Hsu in A, Kerry Condon in the like the S tier, whatever, because obviously that was who I wanted to win, and then Angela Bassett in the B. And I just think even Angela Bassett is so clear to me. Who was the other one? Oh, Hong Chau. Yeah. She was also in Angela Bassett. I think every single one of them was better. And it baffles me because it's like there is literally another option in the same fucking film. I didn't have
a much better option.
Yeah, I didn't have Stephanie Hsu as the best. Well, second best to be fair. So it's like I wouldn't mind her winning as well. I'd like to, but it's just crazy to me. It's just on name alone. And Also, I say that it doesn't annoy me because she was good. She also just comes across as a bit of a knobhead, to be honest. So like, I don't know, man.
Agreed.
I just don't get it. It kind of infuriates me. And not even just because I wanted Kerry Condon to win. Like I tweeted about Kerry Condon winning, wanted to, robbed and whatever, just because I thought. But even anyone I would have preferred. Even if Angela Bassett won, I'd be like, yeah, fair enough. You know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. And I said this would happen. I knew it. And the Oscars is fucking shit, and I'll never watch it again.
I did not think that they were gonna do it. Like in my head, I'm like, there's no way. Like there's just no
she was the
way.
favorite. Well, I think she was like joined, wasn't she?
This is where I'm saying that the formulas are important. Jamie Lee Curtis came in hot off of 2 awards, and people were like, well, is she like now like really like an Oscars favorite? Like, is this really gonna happen? Because the award season started with Angela Bassett. She picked up Critics' Choice and Golden Globes. And I was like, all right, Angela Bassett, that's sweet. And then Jamie Lee Curtis pops in, picks up 2 awards, and we're like, what the fuck is about to happen? And then it seemed like a 2-horse race between Angela and Jamie. And we're like, well, obviously Angela's got to win. Like, are you kidding me? And then they did it. And then they picked Jamie Lee Curtis, who, again, wasn't even the best supporting actress in her own fucking movie. That one scene at the end of Everything Everywhere All at Once, where Stephanie Hsu is crying, talking to Michelle Yeoh. That one scene is better than every other fucking scene with Jamie Lee Curtis.
It was just it was a good performance. She did exactly what she needed to do. I'm not saying she was a bad actress. I think she was perfectly good.
She was fine. She was just fine.
There was
Stephanie Hsu had to have range, though.
Tyler, Dolly DeLeon. We're not nominating Dolly. So George, have you seen Triangle Sadness yet?
I didn't know.
Dolly DeLeon is like, she'd be like top 3 in the whole fucking year for me as supporting actresses. And we're having Jamie Lee Curtis win an Oscar and she's not even fucking nominated. I don't know, man. It's George's like this formula thing is just right, isn't it? Imagine if every year it was just the Oscars. There was like one film award. It'd be so fucking fun because you wouldn't be able to predict anything and it'd be out of nowhere.
Yeah, that gives me that juices me up even thinking about that idea. If there's only one award show, how great! Because you go into it, and there'd be so every different big news website would have a different take on who's the
predictions.
lock.
Yeah, there's no formula, there's no calculation. It's just
right.
We think this is the best, so we're gonna guess it's this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It just sucks that Jamie Lee Curtis was the worst of the 5 nominees, and on top of it, like Seth said, she just is, in the words of Seth's film reviews, a knobhead, and both those combined just really.
Sorry, my British came out then. It does when I get angry.
Fucking geezer, man.
Yeah, geezer. I'm not calling it a geezer. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's something. I don't think it's a great thing in America, but that's just we're different.
I'll
land
remember
masses.
that when I come. I'll remember that when I come to the US. Then.
Yeah, don't get a coffee at a Starbucks and be like, "Thanks, geezer."
Thanks, geezer.
Okay, best actor went to Brendan Fraser for The Whale. It was a true 2-person race between Brendan Fraser and Austin Butler, and it's one of those things where I said I wanted Brendan Fraser to win. I thought he would win, but when I said that, I had a gut feeling in my chest that I was like, but I think I actually deep down want Austin Butler to win.
Do you think he was the better performer? Do you think? Well, what was the better performance for you?
I just feel like Austin Butler became Elvis. I don't know, everyone jokes about the accent, but I feel like he became Elvis, and he took us through the entirety of his life, whereas Brendan Fraser nailed the emotional role of the whale, but it was just the emotional role of the whale. So I feel like Austin Butler was just so good.
I think this is a really strong category. I think Colin Farrell, Cole Mescal, Austin Butler, and Brendan Fraser were all amazing. Bill Nye was probably really good, but I haven't seen it yet. I would... If we're talking who I want to win, it would obviously be Paul Mescal or Colin Farrell, just purely because of the films and how much I love them. But I would want. I think out of those two, I'd want Austin Butler to win. I think, like you said, he transformed into Elvis. He was a completely different person, and I think he really deserved it this year. And I said this in my video I did earlier. I said I did an Oscars breakdown and a reaction per se, and then I said that out of those two, I probably would want Austin Butler to win. And I had so many comments just saying how would you want Austin Butler to win? I don't get it, man. There is this internal hatred for Austin Butler with a lot of people because of the voice thing, I think, which is really just fucking weird, and because of all the memes that have come out of it, and people are just disregarding his performance. If you didn't like Elvis, that's fine, but to say that he wasn't one of the best performances of the year is just wild to me. I think he clearly was. So yeah, I don't know, but it's Brendan Fraser, who fucking cares? it's really good to see him win anyway. So any of those could have won, I would have liked it. To be fair, doesn't really matter to me.
George, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't mind the Brendan Fraser win. Someone tweeted whether or not you agree or disagree with the 4 acting wins. It's good to see that everyone that won is kind of like in like a comeback moment of their career where like they've been counted out and blah blah blah, and now they're back winning Oscars. So
do you think that counts towards something when they like the campaigns?
No, but the formula works. Brendan Fraser picked up like every single previous award, so it was like, all right,
but that's what I mean. That's
the
what I mean.
Oscars is not going to not pick him.
Austin
His Butler
story will count towards the amount of wins he gets, won't it?
Because I mean, Austin Butler was my pick. Him and Paul Mescal, I would have liked to see. But again, like Tyler said, he became Elvis. Like he embodied every single persona that Elvis had to embody, every single emotion that Elvis had to display. He did his own singing, which is something that Rami Malek did not do. So it's interesting when you pick Brendan Fraser to win over Austin Butler, but then you pick like Rami Malek to win over Christian Bale and Vice. Like there's no continuity here. The Oscars are like all over the place. So like if Brendan Fraser was nominated the year of Rami Malek, would he have won or would he have lost? Like what would they do?
I think so.
It's just so interesting how just like all over the place they are when it comes to like biopic nominees. And it almost felt like at the end of the day, they didn't want to pick Austin Butler because they just picked Rami Malek like 4 years ago.
I just think that Brendan Fraser has this like, he just has this story behind him. He has this character where it leads people towards him more. So even though the biopic clearly people, the Academy likes biopics and whatever, there is this story for Brendan Fraser for all he's been through, which is deservedly so. He's been through all this. He comes back and delivers an incredible performance. I think that stands towards something. So I do think whenever Rami Malek won, 2018, I don't know.
Yeah.
2018?
Yeah.
Or 19 for 18.
Well, it was the Oscars 19 for
for 18. I think Brendan probably would have won then as well. Maybe not, but I just think he's got so much going for him in terms of story and his comeback and everything.
Yeah, I think Austin Butler's. I don't know how well Elvis will age as a movie, but I think Austin Butler's performance really will age. Because, like George said, and I feel like what you said has gone so under the radar this award season is that he sang the songs in Elvis, and like no one's talking about that. Like that's such an extra level that no other people bring to their musical biopics. Like Taron Egerton, he performed some of the songs for.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, but like Rami Malek, as you said, won and didn't do that, and Austin Butler.
Did he get a nomination?
He did not. No, that was a big snub. Really? I think
he was nominated at the SAG Awards. I think that was the only. And then he was nominated.
That's surprising. I thought he was really, really good.
Mm-hmm. His performance is, like I said, with Austin Butler, what I think Austin Butler's will become. I think Taron Egerton's performance in Rocketman has aged really well. I think Austin Butler's will the same way. Based on the way that people view The Whale, I don't think Brendan Fraser's might not age the best because a lot of people hate that movie. But anyways, I'm happy to see him win. His speech was very weird. Like I tweeted, he had 7 different whale puns in it. And I just thought they just kept coming. Like I was, on the bottom of the ocean waiting for I was like, okay, you're just keeping on going with these whale puns, aren't you, dude?
I think he's just like an awkward man. When you see him get interviewed and stuff, he's very like withdrawn. It's really hard not to like him, isn't it? But you can't just like.
He's a very, very good guy. Next up, we have Best Actress, which was a 2-person race between Michelle Yeoh and Cate Blanchett. The way the night shaped up, I really wanted Michelle Yeoh to take it home just because I feel like it would have been a crazy slap in the face if everything else happened that night and then this didn't happen.
That cheating did it. Yeah.
But like before the night started, I would have been very happy either way. And like, I can't remember, someone tweeted this at me and it was like, this feels like, or they compared it to some other award win, which I can't remember which one they did in the tweet. But basically, Cate Blanchett delivered probably her career best performance, but she's not going to win because she's already won for performances before. Michelle Yeoh has this great story, which don't get me wrong, I think Michelle Yeoh's performance is at the same exact level as Cate Blanchett. I think it showed a little more range, but in terms of pure acting ability, maybe I'd have Cate Blanchett if I had to give a score a little higher. So either one of those wins I would be happy with, but from a story perspective, I was happy with Michelle Yeoh winning it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I was happy with either. I really thought Cate was going to be the winner, and I thought that because you saw at the SAG Awards, like every time someone won an award, they dedicated it to Michelle. I didn't think that would have an impact on the Oscars, and I thought, if anything, that would incentivize the Oscars to pick Cate Blanchett because Michelle Yeoh kind of had her big moment at the SAG Awards. But again, it's one of those instances where I'm not mad either way. I think they both deliver career best performances. It's tough that they're in the same category in the same year because either one of them could have won the award and I would have been perfectly fine with it. I really did think Kate was going to like complete her almost award season sweep with an Oscar win and pick up her second Oscar or her second.
Second best actress, but third actress. Third Oscar.
Wait, what did you get supporting for?
I don't know. Blue Jasmine was her win, and then supporting came before that. We're just gonna say it's for The Aviator, which it wasn't, but we're just gonna say it.
But yeah, like I said, it's one of those unfortunate years where you have two all-time actresses giving career best performances, and they just happen to be stacked up against each other in one year. And I would not have been upset with either win. I'm very happy for Michelle. Obviously, I have Everything Everywhere as my second best movie of last year, so a big reason of that is because of her. She carried that movie on her back. So I'm really happy for her.
Do you mean Jamie Lee Curtis carried it on her back?
Yeah, right.
My fault.
Yeah.
Big brain move. It actually was The Aviator. So
when you said it, I was like, I think it actually was The Aviator.
Was it The Aviator?
I was named the last time I watched a movie with her as a supporting role. I was like The Aviator or whatever.
That's
I'm saying to you guys, like it's one of them where it's like it's going to be those two. I really loved both of their performances. They were both my 1 and 2. I had Cate Blanchett slightly higher. That might be just an internal bias because of the film, maybe. I don't know. But I loved both of their performances. I think, Tyler, you said it would be a bit of a slap in the face if everyone else got one. If they, everyone else got so many awards and then Michelle Yeoh didn't when she was the star, essentially, of the film. It's one of them. It could be either or. I was like, I was thinking, imagine if like Andrea Riseborough just wins.
I'd be
crazy,
shit, bro.
Crazy.
So who tweeted? Tyler, you tweeted, like, with the way the Academy is going, get ready for a Bill Nye and Andrea Riseborough acting dub.
Yeah. And I saw that tweet and I was like, bro, shut the fuck up. I was like, stop it. Don't put that thought in my head. Don't fucking do that.
That'd be so funny, man.
I was so prepared for and the Academy Award goes to Ana de Armas.
Ana de Armas. Yeah. I forgot.
Even watching the clips of her performance. I'll speak for Cam because he loves her performance. I think it's his second highest Best Actress performance
it's
of the
his
year.
First.
I thought he had Michelle Yeoh still above her, but Cam. I was shouting out Cam because I know he loved Ana de Armas' performance, but
I think it was his first.
But just watching the clips that were shown before the nominees, I even think the clip was just. I think that acting performance is already aged so bad, in my opinion. Like, there's hard to watch those clips.
Is that you thinking about the film as well, though? Because
and that's the thing. Like, it's hard to detach the two, but it
really is.
I swear, her accent bleeds through like crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's the one thing that bothers me. Like when you can't hear her accent and she's like fully in Marilyn Monroe form, I really do think she's incredible.
Yeah,
but her accent
it's occasionally. She'll say words.
It's more than occasionally.
No, that's the thing, because when I watched Blonde, I didn't think the accent was that big of an issue. But then when they showed the one clip and you're just watching a quick snippet of it, I was like, oh, this is Ana de Armas' voice. Like, not even barely masked at all. So that's why I just think this performance hasn't aged the best. But I will say for Andrea Riseborough, I'm happy this award season's over for her. I don't know how much she played a role into, getting a nomination. But if she didn't do anything for it and it just happened, I'm happy this is over because people are going to forget about her nomination.
There was a weird deal with it. Campaign, wasn't there, where it was like she might win. I don't know what the odds
I'm glad she doesn't have to deal with that baggage anymore. Unless she was the one spearheading this campaign, then screw you a bit. But if she didn't, then...
Did you think it was I know you watched it. Do you think it was a high performance? Or?
Yeah, it's in my top 10 of the year. It might be number 6 even. It was a very, very,
very good performance. I might watch it.
The movie's not great. It's not bad. It's a 3 out of 5 for me. But I think her performance is undeniably very good.
Yeah, makes sense.
Then the last 2 awards of the night both went to Everything Everywhere All at Once, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert for Best Director and Best Picture. I just kind of lumped these both in because Best Picture I feel was kind of obvious at this point since everything else had already won, and especially Best Director is just kind of just a final seal on the nose. But yeah, I don't know. Basically, okay, the question I have to both of you: so Best Director and Best Picture. Which would you have rather, if they had to lose one, which are you more upset about, quote unquote? Would you have, Seth, would you have really wanted Martin McDonagh to win Best Picture or Best Director? Or are you feeling like anyone was snubbed in Best Director? Because for this conversation, put all the formula stuff aside. We're not caring about any of the precursors formulas, just purely Best Director of the year. Who would you guys have actually wanted to win out of these?
I would
out of the nominees or just everyone.
The nominees.
Oh,
like,
nominees. Okay.
Okay.
I would have
still taken the Daniels, respectfully. I still would have taken the Daniels.
and that's fine. I think I agree, but I just wanted to know.
I will say they were not my number one of the year, but my top two were not nominated, which was Charlotte Wells and Edward Berger. But of the nominees, I still would have taken the Daniels. I would have rather them have lost Best Picture to All Quiet on the Western Front.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm happy they picked up both of those awards, though.
Yeah,
and
that's
at
exactly
that,
what I was looking for. Yeah,
by the time it got there, it was so obvious. Like they weren't going to give it to Spielberg because the Fablemans won nothing else. They weren't going to give it to Todd Field because the Tar won nothing else. Everything Everywhere had the original screenplay award, so I was like, okay, it's going on to win Best Picture. You might as well give it Best Director.
Agreed.
I would have rather Martin McDonagh taken Best Director, I think, and then Everything All at Once taken Best Picture, because I just think Martin McDonagh is such a talented filmmaker, and I think the fact that he wrote it as well, and obviously the Daniels already won for screenplay, so they've already got their kind of credits for their solo credits for the writing of the film itself,
right.
and I think Martin McDonagh, I would have liked him to get some solo credit for the film, and considering he wrote it, the screenplay as well, obviously missed out on there. I'd like a solo credit for him. Because I just didn't see it winning Best Picture, and I think Everything All at Once winning Best Picture is fine. So I would personally probably say I would switch out the Daniels for Martin McDonagh in that one.
Yeah, so Everything Ever All at Once is undeniably the movie of 2022 based on the awards. It's the most nominated movie of all time over Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, most awarded movie of all time. Over
Really?
Yeah, so even before the Oscars started, in terms of like award season, they had already been the most awarded film of all time. So the Oscars were just icing on the cake. But I don't know if it took home the most Oscars in one night of all time.
No,
that's crazy. I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure Return of the King still holds that W.
Yeah, I think for a single night, Return of the King still holds the cake.
Didn't it go like 9 or something?
No, it won like 11. It was nominated for like 14, and it won like 11.
Yeah,
or 12.
I think Titanic won double digits.
Yeah,
also, so that might be
it? Titanic too. I think La La Land got close. La La Land
did Titanic win Best
9
Picture?
or 10.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it won Best Picture.
For sure.
Oh,
Also, I just like last thing, I guess, before we're wrapping up now, I like that a lot of people argue that like the Oscars should use their platform to like progress cinema, the way like Parasite winning really progressed, foreign films coming into America, and people like kind of opening their eyes and opening their minds to start experiencing more films from around the world. This is doing numbers on indie. This is a small indie A24 film with a budget of like $100 million or less, probably, and it's just won Best Picture. So that is a really good sign that I think the state of cinema is kind of moving in a correct direction.
Yeah,
I agree. The budget was $15 million.
15?
Yeah,
15.
Well, it says 15 to 25.
Oh, that's
is the
crazy,
range.
though. That's crazy.
That's still lower than I thought.
Is that including without the marketing budget?
Yeah, but the marketing I don't think was that crazy, because I remember it came out in theaters and it got a ton of buzz. Like, it didn't come out many theaters, and only because of all the crazy buzz, they're like, okay, shit, we got to release this thing huge.
50. That's crazy, like impressive.
That's skin of a rink.
That's
the
crazy.
buzzer for skin of a rink.
The only thing,
15,000. Let's be fair.
Holy shit.
The only thing I'll say.
15,000. My bad.
Bro, imagine.
Bro, if that was 15 million, I would say like we need to audit this dude's bank account, because he's like laundering this money. Like, there's no way he used.
We've just confused 15 million with 15,000.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Yeah, but the only thing I'll say about Everything Ever All at Once is like, so I posted my Oscars reaction, of course, and all movies do, but Everything Ever All at Once has a pretty vocal like minority of people that just hate the movie. They say it's like corny, it's just awful, it's terrible.
Every really popular film is always going to have those people, isn't it?
And I just find the comments I get so funny when people are like, oh, once you like start to really interpret and understand film, you'll realize Everything Ever All at Once is garbage. I'm like, okay, whether you want to respect the Oscars or not, by definition, who is more credible than like the Academy at the Oscars of like interpreting film and awarding it? Like I said, I don't think the Oscars are the be all end all, but if you're talking about by definition, like how can you be more accredited than being an Oscar voter at the Academy? So I think it's so funny. People are like, you just don't understand. Like, you don't watch enough movies. Once you watch more, like, you'll understand that this movie is actually like shit when you watch more. But I'm like, okay,
I've heard that comment quite a lot, man. Like, I get a lot of comments about it being like a Marvel film, like all the time.
And it doesn't help that the Russo brothers were the producers of it. So like,
yeah, but if it was a fucking Marvel film, I wouldn't like it, would I? I loved
Were
it,
they
so that's
really?
it.
yeah, they produced it. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think that just means they staked the money for it, pretty much.
I
That's
no
about it.
longer like it.
Wait, were
I'm
they
gonna
like
jump
the
in.
main executive producers?
Yeah, they were. I'm just looking now. Yeah, they were. With
Then why did they not accept the award for Best Picture?
the Daniels produced it as well.
Yeah, but who was the guy that they handed that award to? Because that's the first time we saw him.
Yeah,
as an
he
actor.
was. He was
the Best Picture award goes to the producers.
Why
Right.
is there so many producers?
That's probably the
Have
thing.
you
I
seen
don't
how many
know.
producers there is in this?
All right, well, yeah, now it makes sense. That's why they
There's
went
like
there,
8.
but-
Jesus Christ.
So
But the Russo brothers are 2 of them, right?
Yeah, the Russo brothers are 2 of them.
that
That's
would have been
crazy.
jokes if the Russo
With
brothers
Jonathan
accepted
Wang.
the Best Picture award.
Because he produced Swiss Army Man as well, so he's obviously worked with them before, so I'm assuming that was why. Yeah. Makes sense.
Well,
No,
any
it
other
doesn't, because there was 8 producers on that as well, so the logic's flawed. Who knows? Fucking
Any other comments you guys want to make in the Oscars before we wrap up here?
ReelTok awards are better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's damn right.
Well, for closing, I'll leave you with this. The Whale won 2 Oscars. Black Panther Wakanda Forever, aka Marvel film, won 1 Oscar. Meanwhile, The Banshees, Elvis, The Fablemans, Babylon, Triangle of Sadness all got 0. So Marvel and The Whale. And
believe.
yeah, it's just crazy that stat exists on its own. But as a whole, I think the production, amazing. The awards, mixed bag. But it was overall a fun night. I had a good time with it, and this is a good recap of all of our reactions to the awards and what we thought of it. So thank you for watching ReelQuick episode 26. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below the biggest snubs of the night. Hit that follow button if you're on Spotify or Apple Music. We're trying to pump those rookie numbers up. Thank you all so much, and we will see you on ReelQuick episode 26 tomorrow, where we're going to review all of The Last of Us. See you then.